Hey everybody, thanks again for joining us at KonKon's Cantina podcast. Major spoiler warnings for Mandalorian Chapter 3, The Sin. If you haven't watched it yet, pause the podcast, come back, and join the conversation. You can join the conversation by following us on Instagram at KonKon's Cantina, KonKon's Cantina. You can also follow us on Facebook. We also have a Facebook group, also KonKon's Cantina. If you can, please rate and review and leave us a 5-star on Apple Podcast. It really helps with the Apple algorithm to help boost our podcast. Also, special shout outs to FOMOcast. FOMOcast was able to give us a shout out on their last episode. Chris, the headman, is always up to date on pop culture and movie reviews. Their podcast is really well put together, and it would mean a lot to us and them if you went to show them some love. So, thanks again, guys. And here we go, Chapter 3, The Sin.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?
Welcome everybody to KonKon's Cantina, episode 3.
We back.
Oh my God, episode 3.
We back. Listen to this audio. We are full ASMR. You can hear us.
Welcome to NPR. We are with you on this radio traffic hour.
It is 8:37 a.m. on the 4. You have 2, 3, 5 cart. No, but seriously, guys, thank you for joining us. As always, I am your host, iTzKonKon, and I am followed by my two brilliant co-hosts, and they are to my left.
Russell Allen, also known as Magistrate.
Forgot what left was.
I don't know. He pointed at me. He pointed, so I went.
And to my right,
Justin Baker.
And this week, guys, we are going to be talking about The Mandalorian, Disney Plus, Episode 3, The Sin. Before we get into that, as you already know, we are a Cantina podcast. Justin, cue the music.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
Right now, I am drinking local brew. I am drinking my favorite watering hole here in Ocoee, Florida, Toll Road. Shoutouts. I am drinking their Bad at Math. This is a hoppy session IPA. Its ABV is 4.1%. Its IBU is 56. They do crowls over at this location. They make all their own beer. They also have a couple of guest taps. Great place to visit. Look it up. Toll Road, spelled exactly how it sounds. Ocoee, Florida.
Many good nights there.
Russell, what are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking something from a local brewstillery. Yes, you heard that right. Brewstillery, the Winter Park Distillery. The label is Bear Gully Classic. It's a American single malt whiskey, and it's a very small bottle. It was not cheap, but it is one of the better single malt whiskeys that I've ever tasted.
Have you gotten the email from them yet about their new t-shirt? It is a pretty great t-shirt.
I'm a big t-shirt fan. I will check that out.
Beers, bourbon, Battlestar Galactica. Classic.
Which bear is best?
Classic Office quote that they got a new shirt coming out, so hit them up if you want to get that shirt.
Next, we've already gone over our Star Wars sagas. Next time we have...
I'm drinking water, apparently.
Oh, my bad. Justin, what are you drinking? I did see you drink water, or maybe that was Russell, so yeah.
That's a myth.
Justin.
No, today I brought over some Four Roses. This is not your regular Four Roses. I got their Barrel Select from a local liquor store that has a excellent reputation of doing amazing barrel picks, and this is their Perfect 10. It's it's an OESV, and this is one of the best Four Roses that I think I've ever had. Definitely swing by 5-Star Liquor. If anybody's in the Central Florida Bourbon Society, already know about them. That is an entire store full of amazing picks.
So, as we sit here in our cantina, drinking our drinks, talking about Star Wars, we will be getting into the agenda of this show. We do have some news. Justin is going to talk about that. We're going to talk a tad bit about some Fallen Order, Justin and Russell have gotten a chance to play
so
it.
good.
I have not played it
is
myself.
amazing.
However, I have watched about 2 hours now of the Let's Playing, where we're getting.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
you mentioned that last week that you were just watching the cutscenes, and the cutscenes alone were 3 hours of cutscenes from this game.
Yeah, if you have the cutscenes with the person like actually doing the boss battles, it averages 3 hours and 8 minutes to about 3 hours and 16 minutes. So, Justin, how about you get into some of that Disney Plus news?
Well, I don't know if you guys have already seen it, but Disney Plus has finally released some pictures of their first Marvel show. We've already all been enjoying their first Star Wars show, which has been 10 out of 10 amazingness. So we got to hope that their Marvel is going to follow suit, and we're going to have some good content coming from them on that end. But they got some screenshots from the set. I'm not sure if they're from the set or they're just of the outfits for the Bucky and Falcon show, which is going to be their first one that drops onto Disney Plus. And if you look at it, Bucky is straight up looking like Cap in these pictures.
And what was the source material?
I saw this on IGN. I can't remember
okay.
exactly which one. It's kind of been all over the place. But if you look at Bucky, he's clean cut now. Scruff is gone. Long hair is gone. New outfit. He's in blue and red and black sides with his sweet metal arm. But his metal arm now has a white star on it.
That OG outfit also reminds me of how Guardians of the Galaxies looked OG. Like OG Star-Lord, they had they all had blue trench coat. In fact, at the end of Infinity War, I'm sorry, not Infinity War, Endgame. At the end of Endgame, when they're having the spoiler alert for Endgame. If you haven't seen it now, this is your fault. At the funeral for Tony Stark, Rocket is actually wearing his blue jumpsuit that he wears in the original comics to the funeral. Continue, Justin.
Well, my whole thing is with this, we got Bucky looking like Captain America, who if you're a comic book person, you know Bucky does take over the role as Cap for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my ignorance, but Bucky, yes, he takes over Cap for a time. We don't know when.
In the
comics.
end
of right.
We're leading to the same thing.
Okay.
End of Endgame, who's Cap give his shield to?
Falcon.
God dang Falcon.
Right.
Not Bucky, which was a big stinger for me. That I did not like that. But I'm also now, everybody, it's kind of been all over social media. Bucky's sitting looking like Captain America. What's up with Falcon? You think people are talking about possibly they're going to be a duo? The two of them are America's team. But if you look at the throwback, there's some Silver Age pictures of Bucky, and he looks almost identical to this outfit with the modern twist. So I'm very curious to know how the show's going to end up portraying that whole situation. But I hope for a Bucky Captain America.
So while we're talking about Disney Plus Marvel, Kevin Feige did bring out that to keep up with Phase 4 Marvel, if you don't know, we have gone through 3 phases of Marvel. Now, those 3 phases came to a complete full circle after Endgame, and our next introduction to Marvel will be Phase 4. So Kevin said that you have to watch all of the Disney Plus shows to be able to keep up and understand what is going on in Phase 4 Marvel.
Which they were kind of leading to that watching S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
They did a really good job.
Winter Soldier. That was
tied in
amazing.
They tied in a lot of good stuff that you might not necessarily have had to watch it, but if you're a fan and you watched the show S.H.I.E.L.D., you had some precursors before a movie would come out. You had some aftermath and cleanup after a movie would come out, and the side effects of these crazy fights and superheroes and out of this world bosses, for lack of better terms, that were coming to Earth left behind.
So we have Netflix had its own original Marvel content. We had Luke Cage, and we had Iron Fist, and why am I forgetting the name of the girl?
Daredevil, and we also had Jessica Jones.
And Punisher.
So many of them.
Yeah.
All amazing.
Now, I did read an article. I don't have the source material in front of me, and I can't remember the actor's name. But the guy who played Punisher...
oh my God!
Mike Castle, right?
Yeah, and originally from season 1 of Walking Dead, where he did a great job too.
Yeah,
he might. I heard that too. Might in talks for being in the Marvel universe.
Not even might. Disney flat out said we want you to be our Frank Castle. Frank, I said Mike earlier, and he said, yes, absolutely, I will forever be Frank Castle. So we see sometimes like these actors don't like to be defined by roles, and
he fits it though. He fits
Yeah.
it perfectly.
and I'm totally forgetting his name, but he wanted to be. My point in all this Netflix
Only
stuff.
we had a rectangle that could tell us this.
Yeah, right. And now we have we're gonna have streaming wars are a thing now. We have everybody and their mom coming out with a streaming service. I mean, ABC has a streaming service, Disney,
NBC
Netflix,
Peacock.
YouTube. Everybody's having.
There's an amazing meme that I saw recently. I'm not going to do meme talk that much, but it was great because we're talking about all these streaming services and everybody and their mom are coming out with them. Well,
I need my own streaming service.
we're going into Star Wars here. We're transitioning. So every single streaming service adds up to the cost of cable. And you have Obi-Wan on the side of this mountain on Mustafar saying, you were supposed to destroy cable, not join them.
You were the chosen one.
No, it is sad. Actually, let's just talk about that real quick. If we
Cable
want to talk
had the
about
high ground.
So I don't use cable. I pay for Netflix. I pay for Disney Plus. I pay for Apple Music.
Oh, you pay for that?
Yep.
Do you pay for Amazon Prime?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
I do both.
I use somebody
yes,
else's
I'm a
account.
sucker. I do both.
I say Amazon Prime. I did pay for
that's
premium. Okay, go ahead.
That's news that we can talk about. Amazon just announced that
free
all
music.
Amazon users will get free music. But that's where the point that I was getting with Netflix having Marvel content and now Disney having their own streaming service, who now owns the rights to this Marvel stuff that was on Netflix. As we're going through Disney Plus, we're seeing
Marvel
titles aren't
owns the rights
available.
to the characters. Netflix still has the rights for these shows. I think it's, if I remember correctly,
2022.
yeah, it was 2 years that they had those rights, that they would still be on Netflix. On Netflix
Some of them
services.
actually start expiring next year, and then I think they're kind of staggered from here on until 2022.
Man, I just want to see Matt Murdock continue, because he was a great Matt Murdock. Daredevil, that show was amazing. I mean, I don't know, what were your guys' favorite out of that whole Marvel on Netflix? All of those shows.
I think the Luke Cage was the best.
Luke Cage season 1 was amazing.
Yeah.
I watched a few of the Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones with oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. What's Doctor Who's name?
Is that the same guy that's supposed to be?
Jessica. What's his name? I'm totally drawing a blank. Again, I don't have the effort to look it up on my phone while we're talking here, but we all know.
Well, with all these streaming services, I guess that was that was a segue into it. Was even though Apple Music I pay for Apple Music, is Amazon going to be able to get licensing to all these artists?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that long ago that Spotify didn't, like, the Beatles weren't on Where for the longest time. Was
they
it
weren't
Apple
on
Music?
Apple Music.
Yeah.
Until,
Metallica had a
few
whole
years
thing
ago.
where Metallica wouldn't let their rights for any streaming services for a while.
Yeah, and
I think
so,
Tool.
oh yeah, my stepdad Troy, shout out to Troy. He was just telling me the other day that Tool just showed up on something, and
Maynard or whatever that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was the point, the grand scheme of it, which is everybody's coming out with their own service. At what point do we pay some sort of a premium site where we get to pick what content we want? Because it's only a matter of time before that comes out.
A la carte.
Yeah, because at this point, I am paying for Disney Plus solely for The Mandalorian because
You're missing out on DuckTales.
Okay,
You're doing it wrong.
Sure, DuckTales.
The Simpsons in the wrong aspect ratio.
But yeah, and they cut out some of the jokes.
No.
You know that even Dumbo isn't original?
No. It's original, but at the beginning of the movie, it says some of these references may be out of date.
I mean,
Have you guys watched Gone with the Wind recently? Because
Gone with the Wind?
yeah, Gone with the Wind.
No.
It's a great movie. You should watch it.
Look for a bonus
Stop
episode of
looking at me
Russell
like that.
Reviews Gone with the Wind.
We might
No,
review
there's
Gone with the
out of
Wind.
date references. You know.
Frankly, Russell.
Yes.
Oh, that's Casablanca. Dang it.
I appreciate the effort.
No, it is actually Gone with the Wind, but it's fine. Good effort.
So
Something Humphrey Bogart, something or other.
I think that's pretty much wrapping it up with the news. I did see an article where a 3-year McDonald's employee was purposefully adding an additional nugget to every single chicken nugget meal that
Hero.
he had.
He's
Not all heroes wear capes, Justin.
He is a true hero.
With that being said, we are going to get straight into the Mandalorian recap. And
This episode
hopefully-
was mediocre.
this morning.
Sounds
Okay.
good though.
Real story. Knew that I was gonna have a busy day at work today. Excuse me, I got hiccups. Shout outs to Toll Road. I had to be somewhere at 8:00, and I didn't know what time I was gonna be home. I'm on call this weekend, so we had arranged to be at my house at 6:30 to watch the episode together and then record the podcast, right? And we will be airing on Monday, as you will be listening to it
This
on Monday.
is Monday, Konnor.
It is Monday. We are
Time travel.
we are in the future. So I got up at 5:30 to watch this episode.
I did not.
And I have a morning routine. I don't know about you guys. And and part of my morning
I think,
routine.
Konnor, you and I are both morning people.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. If I'm not getting up early in the morning, anything past waking up at past 9:00, I feel like I've lost.
Oh, I wasted my entire day basically at that
literally,
point.
yeah. So
You guys are weird.
Yeah, so I wake up at 5:30. I watch the episode. I am literally screaming in my spare bathroom, trying to not wake up my wife about this episode, going crazy.
I was roughly 30 minutes behind you. You texted me with all caps OMG. And I'm laying in bed with AirPods on and my phone, trying to watch the show without waking up my wife. And then my 7-year-old daughter, who came into our room at 3 a.m, is in the middle of the two of us while I'm freaking out watching this episode.
And I'm replying to
sin.
this group chat saying, I am watching it at lunch, which didn't happen. I had to watch it later. And I'm saying, no spoilers, please.
Hey, I had you in the chat, though. Our producer was about to ruin it. And I said, hey, Russell hasn't seen it yet. No
Konnor,
no spoilers.
No
you are my
spoilers,
savior.
Miguel.
Yeah.
You're my only hope.
All right, so
Let's get into this recap. Let's do this.
We dive into the episode. We have our Mandalorian and our Baby Yoda flying through space. We have a very cute interaction of our Baby Yoda reaching for what appears to be the engines, the
shift knob.
the ship knob.
Before that, I
The
have
shift
one
knob?
small thing to bring up about our Yoda.
Okay.
So, what is one thing that the original trilogy taught you about Yoda?
He likes
His movements, specifically.
He likes to
He don't
play with things. Remember, he went for
Oh,
the
true.
flashlight.
He did. He
Yeah,
Yeah,
loved
the
he's
Empire.
tinkering and
Yeah,
Luke
yeah.
stuff.
And he's throwing
But Yoda
stuff out.
portrays he portrays himself as he's like a slow moving. I mean, Yoda's granted he's 800 years old, but his species lends itself to be like he's not the most agile species, and we get the same vibe from Baby Yoda. He's in his little egg cradle, but how many times have you seen Baby Yoda straight up climb down and drop a full height of his entire body? I think
Well,
that
he's young.
We saw it twice.
and if you notice
In
the
episode
very
2.
beginning of this episode, he kind of climbs over the edge and then does a drop that
Yeah.
to a human would be like a 7-8 foot drop without an issue.
Can we just talk about the fact that, and actually shout out to my boss, Mindy Heath. She mentioned this, which I didn't even notice. He's got white, scraggly hair like Yoda does on top.
Yeah,
So I guess this is a
already balding.
Yeah, this is a characteristic
Yoda pattern baldness.
of the Yoda species.
It must be the male, because remember, Yaddle was female
and
and
she had hair, right?
canon she
had
had
legit
burgundy
hair.
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, legit hair.
Flowing burgundy locks.
Non-canon, so EU. Did you know that the Yoda species came in different colors? It was not just green.
Wasn't there like a yellow?
Yellow, tan, and blue and green. They came
Yeah.
in different colors, and it was a representation of their personality.
And they are not
iPhones.
Lanix.
Like iPhones.
Like iPhones, iYoda. So after our Baby Yoda plays with the shifter knob, our Mando takes the shifter knob from him and says, "That's not a toy."
Mine.
After this, we get a hologram message from Chubbs saying, "Mando, I'm so glad that you got you got the package. He wants it delivered straight to him. He doesn't know what he wants to do to it.
He might want to eat it.
He might want to eat it. He wants it now."
That's disgusting.
So, our Mandalorian finds the building that we saw in episode 1.
Wait. You pointed this out when he was landing, going over the town.
Yes.
We don't know what planet this is.
Magma.
Red hot, burning, dried magma.
Yeah, when Armando is landing his ship and he's walking through this threshold of the
City.
town, which, by the way,
Kind of
that is
reminds me
a-
of St. Augustine, the entrance to St. Augustine. The old
through
St.
the
Andrew-
city gates?
Yeah.
Well,
Shout out to
Very-
City Gates Distillery.
That is that's a very Star Wars thing. Period. Remember, even the junkyard at Jakku had a threshold that Rey
Yeah.
destroys with the Falcon. And if I'm not mistaken, in Phantom Menace, when they're walking into Mos Eisley, there's also a, I mean, it's like you said, it's a real life thing. There's a threshold representing a city.
Yeah,
there's
the
a
beginning
gateway.
of the
the gates
town.
of your
Yeah,
city.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when he's walking through this threshold, you'll see on the side of the city, there is steam coming up out of the ground. We can only assume it's steam because it looks like real world cooling down magma.
Looks like Hawaii when the magma was like.
Or it
cooling
looks like
down.
New York City sewers.
Exactly.
Okay.
So after this, our Mandalorian brings our Baby Yoda to the building that we saw in Episode 1. He is delivering Baby Yoda to the Imperials. He is met by the security droid. He meets our Imperial. He then delivers the child.
The Euro hipster troopers are back.
Yes, and it seems like there are more of them.
More dirty, more troopers.
With that, our doctor enters the room. Now, we had some press photos of this doctor. Now, we could not see the patch on the doctor, his right arm, in the first episode. We get a clear shot of it as the doctor is escorting Baby Yoda out of the room in this episode. That patch is the same patch that all the clones have in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, on Kamino.
So I say a Camino patch, or is this a clone trooper patch?
Well, Beans is how the only cloners that we know about
In the Star
on
Wars universe, right? I mean,
in canon, yeah.
in
I guess
canon,
it's
yeah.
Kamino. They're the only. And
Now, these are cloners.
darn good ones too. Shout
Sifo
out.
Dyas.
Obi-Wan.
Shout out to Sifo Dyas for that cloning action.
Yeah. Did you know that it's canon that he paid for the entire clone army out of his pocket? By the way.
Yes.
No, he took the money, I thought, from the Jedi archives or something.
No, it was literally his
I wonder
personal
if
money.
Dooku funded it secretly.
No, dude, I just told you it was Cypher Diaz. It's a canon fact,
Sifo
bro.
Dyas and Dooku were like best friends.
Yeah, but they're not the same.
Shout out
Anyway.
to the new book that came out this week, Force Collector, who has a small tidbit on Sifo Dyas as well as many other well-known stories in the
Sifo
Star Wars
Dyas
universe.
was a whack job, dude.
Yeah,
Did
he's
you know?
crazy.
Did you know where Sifo Dyas came from?
The Jedi Temple.
George Lucas's son.
So, when they were
A
writing
bib
this,
Fortuna.
when they were writing the script for Sifo Dyas, somebody misspelled Sidious,
Nice.
and that's how it read. That's how his character was created. Little
That
tidbit.
one that I just quoted. One of my favorite things about Lucas is how he named Bib Fortuna. Do you know this story? So Bib Fortuna, classic Jabba's palace. The name came because George's child at that point loved tuna.
Okay.
His name is a Bib Fortuna
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
because his
okay.
kid had to wear a special bib for his tuna.
What was the dog's name? No.
Speaking of Lucas's kid who liked tuna, did you know he is actually one of the younglings that dies in Revenge of the
Yes,
Sith?
I do remember
Oh yeah,
that.
when Organa's
Yeah.
like landing and he's
I think
like,
he was the last one to run
he's like,
out,
"No!"
like last ditch effort of a
Yeah.
youngling.
Hey, he takes a couple of troopers
Yeah.
out with him.
Yeah.
All right, we are getting
Didn't stand a
immensely
chance.
sidetracked. So,
Sorry.
back to the patch. This is the same patch that we see.
That's a huge detail though, Konnor. So this implies that they want to do
We are
something.
45 seconds into the episode.
Yeah, literally. This does imply that they want to
Clone
clone.
Iota.
Yeah, we have to come to that. We just have to go with what we see on
Iota
screen.
is a clone.
After delivering the child, the doctor leaves the room. Our Mandalorian asks what is to be done with the child. Our Imperial says, "How very uncharacteristic of you." That was a really bad impression, but we're gonna go with it. Our Mando receives the container of Beskar steel. That
20 plates. I don't know if you guys caught
did you
that.
count?
I counted them.
Okay, 20 plates.
There's 20 plates.
It's
of
not ice cream.
ingots.
Yeah. So what Russell's referring to is apparently that container has something to do with ice cream. I read that.
Yeah, that's Konnor. I didn't make that
Yeah.
up.
So after he gets his Beskar, and this was the theory that I had, which I'm not saying this was like some grand theory. I think that was pretty obvious. He's a Mandalorian. He needs
Mhm.
Beskar. I said that he was going to turn over the child, our baby Yoda, our Iota, so that he could receive the Beskar. And then as we find out later in the episode,
Let's get to it.
okay, so he gets the Beskar, Justin.
So I have something on this Beskar steel.
Tell me.
So
Give it to me.
I do like how Star Wars does a great job of bringing in like our world, real life references into the universe.
Tell me all the facts.
Okay. Are you guys familiar with Damascus steel?
Yes.
The story of it?
Well, you were telling me that real Damascus, they're not sure how real Damascus was
Exactly.
made, but how it looks is still replicated today.
Yep. So real Damascus steel, the way that it was made has been lost to time due to whether it's the materials, the process that it was made. It's gone. They've tried to reproduce it, but it just doesn't. They don't know if it's the same thing or not. But there's legends of this stuff where it's so sharp it could cut a rifle barrel in half. A falling hair would fall onto a blade and it would immediately slice in half.
And this is from the city of Damascus, I would.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. Yeah, in the Middle East, that's
Right,
where
right.
it was. And
Middle. I would think
The Egyptians
I
or
would
the
think
Jews
Japan.
or someone used it.
It was in
Or
the
the
Middle East
Damascians.
in Damascus, and they used what was called Wootz steel ingots, and then they would create their Damascus steel, their armors, their weaponsmiths
Wow.
would create that out of those ingots. But what they would use is what's the word? They would use real life leaves, trees, stuff like that mixed in with their ingots as they're smelting it, is what the theory is, because it had a super plastic. My God, I'm totally drawing a blank. A super plastic, as far as it was hard, but it would take an abrupt hit,
So
and it would
was
flex.
kind of pliable a little.
Exactly, yeah.
But still hard to not break.
Yeah, it wouldn't break. It would be like an armor that, like, if you wore it as your like a chest piece and you took a sword strike to it, it would flex where nothing else in that time period
Right.
would ever be able to do that.
So a big thing with steel, especially steel that's extremely hard, like
And it looks, if you look at those ingots, it's got those same wavy, watery looking patterns into it. And that's exactly what our Beskar steel looks like. And I just appreciate how they drew from like real history.
Yeah.
That's something that's like a myth and created that into now a Star Wars myth.
After our Mandalorian gets the Beskar steel, he brings the Beskar steel back to his clan, which the clan is called a culvert. So he brings it back to the culvert. He then presents the Beskar steel to his clan armorer, and she says, "A full cuirass is in order." She warns the Mandalorian that this will draw many eyes. Now, the self-proclaimed Duncan,
Trooper.
the heavy-plated Mando, as it is
which,
referred.
by the way, I want to interject here. Did anyone catch on that it kind of sounds like Jon Favreau?
Dude, that would be an awesome Easter egg.
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't listen to the voice that close, but that would be an amazing
I picked it up
Easter
almost
egg.
immediately, listening to it on my phone, watching it at 3:00 this afternoon.
Don't you think we would have? I feel like we would have heard something about that.
I looked at the credits, and they don't. Anybody that's kind of like a sideline
Uh-huh.
character, they don't show any names for the actors or actresses.
Well, yeah, we didn't even get a name for him. It said Heavy Trooper.
Right.
Right,
Well,
or
and then
heavy
the
infantry,
in the subtitles.
yeah,
In the
infantry.
subtitles. So
Also,
if
tip
it is,
to
it
everybody
sounded
else,
like Jon
turn
Favreau.
subtitles on if you want to learn character names.
Exactly. So that's what we did. We turned on subtitles, and that gave us the heavy infantry, which I dubbed Thy Duncan. Which
So getting into this, I know I have a note here on my after we are introduced to Duncan, she is asked, "Have you ever taken off your helmet?" And then, "Has someone else ever taken off your helmet?" Now, we talked about this during our viewing tonight.
Is he a
we
real
have
Mandalorian?
plenty of canon representation of Mandalorians. Sabine Wren from Rebels,
Clone Wars.
right?
Death Watch.
And they're taking off their helmet all the left and right. So this must be a new, sect of the Mandalorians, which they're not allowed to take it off.
The Hasidic Mandalorians.
Yes, the Orthodox
Yeah. So
Mandalorians.
our armorer warns our Mandalorian that this will draw many eyes. Duncan walks in the room. A fight then ensues between Duncan and the Mandalorian. Now, the way that I took this scene is I feel like Duncan was accusing our Mandalorian of not being a real Mandalorian. He talked about how he sits at the table of the Empire, the one who caused the purge, the reason why they have to hide in the shadows like rats.
Their secrecy is their survival.
And then, as Russell brought out, we have what seems to be this new rule with this culvert, which is you can never take off your helmet, which we've never seen in Star Wars canon before. So this could be new. This could be to this clan, this culvert in general, which then ensues. Duncan tries to take off our Mandalorian's helmet. They start to fight. They pull
Is
out
that
their
what you got
vibro
from that?
blades.
He tried to take it off?
I thought he
What do you
just
mean?
wanted-
Of course he did. His hand goes up underneath his
yeah.
mask.
I thought he was
Dude,
just
I did not catch that.
Oh yeah, he was
vibe
told
at all.
that is pure disrespect.
I
That's
thought
what,
that was like just like masculine, like
get over here.
No, he. If you watch it, he calls him a coward. That was part of the reason why that pointed to the scene that I felt like it was him saying he's not a Mando.
Have as a question, do you think that in this series our boy is going to take his helmet off at any point?
We do have a scene which appears to be there's a woman. I don't know if that was supposed to be his mother. I don't know if it's supposed to be a love interest. It was in one of the trailers that we got, and it does seem like this woman is trying to take off his helmet at some point. Shout outs to Justin bumping the mic. So the fight ensues. Duncan, the armor basically calls a stop to this fight as Russell brought out, and she starts talking about the way. Now, this is the way of the Mandalore.
This is the way.
And she says, "Have you ever taken off your helmet?" Armando replies, "No." "Has anybody else ever taken off your helmet?" Armando replies, "No." They then say, "This is the way." In unison, the clan says, This is the way.
And then Duncan says, "This is the way."
So we go over
Jon
signet
Favreau.
talk when they are making his armor. There's talk about making the Mudhorn his signet. He says that it wasn't a clean kill, obviously or a noble kill, talking about Baby Yoda. She then forgoes the signet and brings up that whistling birds are in order.
Oh, yes.
And we will definitely get to
What are they?
these
What are
whistling
they?
birds. So our armor melts down the Beskar. We then get more cutscenes of what we are thinking to be the planet Mandalore. Now, Russell, you found something in the show that I didn't notice.
Well, there was discussion when we were watching the show earlier this evening that is this planet Mandalore? I mean, this could be any planet.
The flashbacks
During the
specifically
flashbacks,
that
yeah.
we're
During the
talking about.
flashbacks,
Yep.
right? Every time we see the armor make
Red-clad citizens running, no
Every-
armor, no masks.
every time we see them, the armor making it, we get that those flashes every time they hit the metal, flashes to some sort of planet where the Separatists, which we thought maybe it was the Empire, the Purge that they referenced in episode 2, I think, or 1. But
The
we
Empire
know
Purge, yeah.
the Empire Purge. But we know from these flashbacks when she was smelting the armor in this episode, we clearly see B1 battle droids. I mean, B2, sorry.
Super battle droids.
Super
Glorious.
battle droids, which was
CGI.
amazing to see in real life. I said, not horrible 2003 CGI. Anyway, so when they were running to the basement, the doors, the design of the door, the handle, it
Mhm.
looked something like the architecture.
It was angular. It looked.
It was very Mandalorian.
Mhm.
Not saying this is definitive by any means, but a clue
We're speculating,
as
but that's the
to
point of their podcast.
what planet this is that the Separatists are attacking.
So after our Mandalore receives his new Beskar armor, he proceeds to walk into the cantina that we have seen numerous times now, where the rest of the bounty hunter guild then is. All eyes are on Mando in this scene. Everybody. The Achutas are flying. People are not happy. Chubbs greets him as he walks in the door. Mando!
Speaking of, have you noticed that nobody knows a name for him? They refer to him as only Mando.
Now,
Right.
I won't spoil it, but Pedro
No.
Pascal literally
Yeah.
gave his name.
We won't talk about that.
It's in an interview, so we do know his
Go
name.
look it up if you're interested. But
Yeah.
I choose to not read spoilers.
I want to be surprised.
I think that's
Can we just go to the Twilight healing baths, please?
Yes, so as we sit down and we talk about the bounty,
I want to go to there.
our Chubbs
All the things.
then says, "You are the best. You are my partner. You are my business partner. You are the best. Everybody here couldn't get the job done, but you got it done."
They want to be you.
He
my
then
man.
asks, "How many trackers?" And he said they all had trackers.
And he yelled
So he
it.
was not the only person taking this bounty out on Iota.
No.
Every single person.
He may have only been the one that had a deposit with one ingot of that Beskar steel, but they
Right.
straight gave that bounty to everybody. Bring him in, dead or alive. Preferably dead.
Preferably dead, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Chubbs brings out the Twi'lek healing baths, which in Star Wars
Let's do it.
fandom, apparently, Twi'leks are viewed as like the most hot humanoid.
They're strippers.
Pretty
Oh,
much.
I wouldn't have said that. I would say they were artists.
One
They're
thing,
dancers. They're
one-
dancers.
one thing that I wanted to point out,
Majestic dancers.
while he was in the clan, the armorer brought out that he was a hunter. Okay. Part of the Mandalorian way is
Okay.
the hunters, you are the hunter, you are also the prey.
Oh,
Later,
yes, I did get that quote. Yeah.
later, Chubbs, while they're in the cantina, he says, "You hunters like to keep busy." So this is
I
another
took that as
term.
bounty hunters, period. You took that as a Mando thing specifically?
Well, yeah, because literally right before the scene, we have a Mandalorian coining it a Mandalorian thing by leading the Mandalorian way as you are a hunter.
Chubbs don't know nothing, though.
No, he knows he's a Mandalorian. So after this, we talk about he talks about the Empire. He asks why they're on this planet. Chubbs then says, "If you feel so bad about it, report them to the New Republic." Now, this was something that I wrote down specifically because in
Low blow.
the book Bloodlines, Leia Organa completely forgoes her Jedi training that is offered to her by her brother Luke, so that she can practice
She
her
knew where she was
senatorial.
needed.
Yeah, which was the whole Senate thing. So during this time, 5 years after the Return of the Jedi, Leia is working very, very hard to make this New Republic that we see in The Force Awakens, and it is completely taken as a joke. Armando says, says New Republic. Is that a joke?
Right.
After leaving the cantina,
Wait. Before we leave the cantina, I did write down here. It's interesting because this is building, again, Jon Favreau's a master at building suspense. So our Chubbs man, he wanted Armando to take a vacation, take a day off. You just scored the biggest bounty of this century. I don't know.
I'm rich. I'm rich too.
Yeah. shows him-
Also,
yeah.
speaking of that quote, he pulled out 2 plates of Beskar
Oh yeah, we are gonna get into that later.
out of his chest
Mhm.
and flashed them quickly to
Mhm.
our boy.
Yep.
And showed him, I'm rich too. I got 2 plates of Mandalorian Beskar steel.
Yep.
Slid him right back into the center of his chest under his little pocket and kept
And
him there.
again, Jon Favreau building suspense because that is important.
I did not
right?
catch that until I was rewatching the episode.
So our man wanted the next job to distract him from what he did. It's bothering him. Clearly, it's bothering him.
Oh yeah,
And then he's like,
our boy's asking about it. He
Right.
asked about it in the Imperial, and now he asked about
Right.
it. What are they gonna do with him?
So then he's like, well, what about this one? We have the
farthest.
son
That's
of
a good
Admiral
point.
Akbar is on the disc or whatever.
It's not really the son of Admiral Akbar.
We don't know who he is.
Listen, he's a Mon Calamarian. This is Disney. They're all connected.
Right. Everybody knows each other in this massive galaxy. So anyway, he says farther away the better. So it's obvious he doesn't want to think about what he just did. Okay, continue.
I do want to touch on that actually, and this isn't a call out to you by any means. Have you seen? We have a new female black character that's coming out in Rise of Skywalker. How many times have you heard somebody say, "Oh yeah, that's Lando's daughter"?
I thought it was
Crickets.
confirmed that it was Lando's daughter.
It's definitely not.
It's not confirmed. Okay,
It's
I'm sorry.
Leia and
My-
Lando's daughter.
My point that's exactly what I'm getting at. And it's kind of like we make these little jokes. Listen, the Star Wars universe is so vast that if you're telling me that that's Admiral Akbar's kid
Thank you.
and that is Lando's daughter, I need more diversity. Like, are you serious? Not everything has to
I'm
be.
going to digress very quickly. I have had this same pet peeve in the most recent books and video games that we stay on the same dozen, maybe 2 dozen worlds.
You
in
just told me
an
that this morning.
entire freaking galaxy.
Yeah,
That we're gonna stay on these like same 12 planets.
yeah.
Everything pivotal, everything important is on these same planets. Fallen Order. We have somebody who has psychometry.
Well, the ability to like feel
Feel past events
Right.
through the Force, which is
by
supposed to
touching
be
an object.
an
or something.
extremely rare thing.
But we
And
have 2
Rey
people
has
that-
it.
Yeah.
Fallen Order has it.
Yeah.
There's a new book out that released this week that's called The Force Collector, which I got an hour left of it. The entire book is him reading through the Jedi's history, same era as The Mandalorian, about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. He has the exact same ability. Disney seems to like
They get
keeping
these
things
ideas-
localized so that everybody understands
A new-
what's going on.
a new
I don't know
car
if
comes
it's
out.
that or if it's the fact that there's a connection there. People get sort of excited about that relation, and really
Half
Star
of the
Wars
worlds are supposed to be outer rim on the
Right.
edge of wild space.
I'm
They're
just telling
supposed
you
to be
why Disney
nowhere.
does it. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, Admiral Thrawn. I'm from the outer world. That was really good. For anybody who's listened, which is all 3 of us, to the
Thrawn books.
Thrawn books, there's I I can't remember his name, of
Mark
course.
Thompson.
Never
Yeah, well,
keep
it's
all
Mark
your
Thompson, but
Konnor, never keep your ideas in a bushel basket.
yeah, but what's his name in the book? What's
Isn't
the
it
kid?
starts with a C or something?
Anyway,
I'm
he,
from Wild Space.
he has a country accent, and I kind of sound
He's
like
from
Mark
Georgia.
Thomas when I do that. So, back to our Mandalorian.
I digressed. I'm sorry.
Yes, we digressed. We're digressing a lot this episode. We talk about the Twilight healing baths. Our hunter likes to keep busy. He wants his new job. He does not report anything to the New Republic. He walks out of the cantina. He goes to power his ship to go to his next job. He then finds the tiny little shift knob that is
Aw.
apparently
Rip
threaded.
Momo shifter.
He felt
Yes, it's completely Momo. Okay, Nissan. All right, threaded on. It's not magnetic. It's not electric. That was something kind of like our world. I thought that was interesting, and this reminds him of Baby Yoda. Then
he felt the pull to the light.
and we see this humanity in Armando that we have kind of seen before, but then we get glimpses of him evaporating organic life with his disruptor
Right.
rifle.
He has a
which
soft spot for
he
sure.
does. He does have a soft spot, which is something that we like to see, and that's what we like to see in character development. You know, that's where a lot of people, you know, they'll poke fun at movies and they'll say, you know, long extended series are better. Well, of course they're better. There's more airtime. We have more time with our characters. We have more time to learn their likes, their dislikes, their characteristics, why they do the things they do, and that gives us time to complete this full circle of a character. And this is just building more to our Mando.
And our boy doesn't even need dialogue to do that. He's able to like create this character development through his actions and his like the cinematography of what they're able to do with this show. Like you know exactly how he's feeling without talking.
So after we get the obvious disapproval of himself from our Mandalorian of giving away Baby Yoda, he powers down his ship. He then walks back to the building where he gave away Baby Yoda. He is perching himself on the skyline, and he uses some new tech that we haven't seen before, which
Very
is
cool.
heat thermal imaging.
We see his HUD readout.
Mhm.
We talked about this last episode. We hadn't seen that. This is our first time.
Yeah, we see thermal imaging and we also hear
His
what's going
rifle
on
apparently
behind a
has
stone
some type
wall.
of microphone attached to it.
Very perfect dark. I like
Mhm.
that.
We then get a conversation about the Imperial saying that they have already gotten what they needed from Baby Yoda. Our doctor encourages him not to kill him. Our Mandalorian then knocks on the
And
door.
did you, hold
Whoa,
on,
whoa,
quick.
whoa, you
Did you notice that the
glossed.
doctor's life was threatened?
Right.
Also, we
So he
cannot
says-
guarantee your safety.
Right. And he
Which-
says he has explicitly ordered us to bring
Between
it back
episode
alive.
or chapter 1 and this, the doctor has consistently been concerned with Yoda's health and his safety. And this is also following through with that. He's being held at some type of captivity.
We
Right.
can briefly get into who you think he is.
I don't want to get into it. I just want to make a point that he said that, which I didn't get the first time I watched it. There is a he. Someone explicitly ordered the Moff and the doctor to bring him back alive. And the Moff didn't want to do that. He just like take the sample and get done with it or whatever.
Dad didn't care.
right.
Live or dead didn't matter to him.
Stick the needle in there, get whatever we need, and kill him.
The
you know?
midichlorians.
So after this conversation, our Mandalorian hears. He then walks down and destroys the security droid at the door, leading two stormtroopers, unfortunately, to their death. Our Mandalorian going through this building to get
Straight
Baby Yoda.
Batman.
Straight, yeah. Batman,
Oh, yeah.
Splinter Cell, complete covert operation. Whoever
Down to the cape.
got the cinema. Oh my goodness, can't say this word.
Cinematography.
Thank you. Cinematography of this whole scene. They just got it completely.
Oh, yeah.
They did. Down to every piece of equipment that he used.
When the doctor's like cowering and he looks up and he's gone, totally Batman, man.
Yeah.
the cape as he's walking down the hallway. It's all perfect.
So call back to we've only ever known it as an imperial
Torture droid.
interrogation droid.
Yeah, interrogation droid.
Now, who is the droid interrogating?
Leia.
Well,
Okay,
no.
yeah, but in
Had to have
Mando,
been-
Oh, and Mando.
yeah, we're
Baby
not gonna
Yoda.
interrogate Baby. What are we getting out of Baby Yoda's? Coos?
Well, I always see the
Dude, it's got that giant injector needle. We've
Yeah.
seen that it like extracts DNA samples in books. It's not just physically like make me talk.
It's got tools and it's not shy to use them.
So our Armando takes a precision shot, as he always does, taking out this droid. The doctor then begs for his life, saying, I only wanted to protect the Yoda. I'd like to say I don't think this is the last time we're going to see the Doctor, by the way.
I don't
No,
think so
John
either.
Lennon Eyeglass Doctor is gonna be back.
Also, Michael from Rex and Around Show, just saying. He doesn't like that, but he's not listening to this and probably never will. But if he ever does, it does kind of look like him. So our Mandalorian then takes our baby Yoda. We get more of the Splinter Cell Batman walking through. We then get
All
our
the gadgets.
I love that he kills the lights. Totally a Batman move.
yeah, kills the lights, hiding. We then get a scene where we have, let's just say that it's our original 4 stormtroopers, even though it's probably not.
Euro hipster dirty stormtroopers.
I love them. I think they're great. And by the way, way more stormtroopers than I thought from the first episode. I thought there was like 2.
The first episode, we have him 4-1. I like those odds.
Yep. And we see it again.
Our Mando says, no, wait. I have something that's very valuable. Let me put it down. As he reaches down to put down Baby Yoda and he puts down his blaster as he's instructed by the stormtroopers, he very so slightly gestures to his left gauntlet, activating his whistling birds that are given to him by his clan, his culvert.
Did you guys count how many he got and how many he used in this first day of receiving them?
She said that they used them sparingly.
They were extremely rare.
Well, they're made out of Beskar, right?
He got 12.
I'm assuming.
He got 12. He took down 4. He's used a third. Sorry, gestures, hand gestures are a thing.
Don't talk with your hands, Justin.
He used a third of his extremely rare Beskar steel whistling birds
Kind of want to
the
steak.
same day that he got them. Like, they're gone. Like, he can't
What-
refill that.
One thing that I noticed too, did you notice where the whistling birds went?
I didn't look that close to the impact point.
Okay, so in Guardians of the
Neck.
Galaxy,
Really?
what's
They
his name?
all went to the neck.
In
Konnor
Guardians
was
of the
tapping
Ga-
his neck if you couldn't
Remember
see
the?
that.
Yeah, no, I saw that. The little.
Oh,
little
yeah.
arrow. That's
Yondu.
Yondu's arrow.
Uh huh.
I don't know. Did Jon Favreau have anything to do with Guardians? I don't know.
No.
if he didn't. But that was pretty cool. Definitely.
That's what that reminded you of.
A little bit.
Yeah,
I
can
could see that. I
Yeah.
could see that definitely.
Because they didn't just go straight. They kind of
Yeah.
twirled around and.
Oh man, I feel bad for our beware headphone users. We are whistling. That can't be good. That's why we have pop filters. Yeah, so Armando then he bends down. He uses his whistling birds against these stormtroopers. The whistling birds, they go around the room and they enter our stormtroopers via the neck. Precision kills.
Very Mandalorian way of killing things.
So once our Mandalorian is done dispatching the 4-1 odds that he said that he did not mind in the first episode, would have liked to seen how he was going to dispatch them in the first episode because he didn't have his whistling birds then.
Yeah, I feel like whistling birds were kind of like cheating, but I mean, it was so awesome to see it, so I don't
I
mind.
mean, if you just got a new toy, who wouldn't want to use it?
Yeah, and he didn't have his Beskar armor, so this was definitely the best scenario that he could have had to deal with these stormtroopers in those 4-1 odds that he liked.
And he was trying to get out of there quickly, you know, before he was just like, yeah,
Exactly.
I can take my time slaughtering you old school stormtroopers.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, he had Baby Yoda. So, I
True.
mean, he was kind of limited on what he could do.
Yeah, time was of the essence. He wanted to get out of there. So once our Mandalorian leaves the building, he is walking through the center of town, and he is met with what appears to be the entire Bounty Hunters Guild. We then have a nice Western-style standoff. Our Mandalorian's fingers are twitching over the stock of his pistol, his blaster. He is ready to fight. Chubbs urges him, Mando, put down the package if you care about the kid. Our Mando urges Chubbs to let him pass so that he can pass in peace, to go back to his ship and to leave away with Baby Yoda. Of course, this doesn't happen. A gunfight ensues. Our Mandalorian does the most amazing James Bond type-esque flip into this cargo speeder.
That was a straight Jackie Chan flip into there.
Yeah, he does his own stunts. That's actually Jackie Chan underneath the helmet.
This is a side note. Based off of the Mando's armor and the Razor Crest, I'm pretty sure he would be buying the new Cybertruck from Tesla.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think that would fit in pretty well in that whole scene.
That
And
or a DeLorean.
you glossed over the "I am your only hope," and then that was
Oh,
a
yeah.
callback to A New Hope there, which obvious callback, but it was still nice to hear.
He says, or we were talking about the Cybertruck yesterday, and I was like, I kind of want one just so that I can paint it matte green and make it part of the USC and have it, have a Halo truck. And of course, it wasn't 2 hours later we
The
saw
memes are out.
Oh,
yeah, all the memes are out. of having it being a Halo truck. Somebody already put red team in the car.
Yeah.
One red team driver, one dude on the back manning the 50 cal. So
What is the Halo truck called again?
The
Warthog.
Warthog. There
Yes.
you go.
It has dual action steering.
The most
The front
annoying
steers
video
and-
game vehicle ever to control.
Yeah, just the slightest twitch of the Joy-Con, you're flipping. And then, of course, whenever you're playing multiplayer and you get in the back, the person who's driving can't drive.
No, never.
Every video game ever. So, during this amazing Western-style gunfight, Armando is easily dispatching. But due to the B theory, if you don't know what the B theory is you can be as good as you are, but 1 against 1,000, the odds are just not in your favor. And because of this, Armando starts to feel overwhelmed. He takes a couple of glances between him and Baby Yoda, concern on Baby Yoda's face. Maybe at this moment, Armando was saying, Baby Yoda, please help me. You helped me before, maybe you can help me again.
Yeah,
And
he
that-
kind of like, come on, buddy, do the
Maybe-
thing. Do the thing again.
Do the thing. And, I mean, would the episode have been less better, less good if Baby Yoda
Good
did
English.
save the day?
I mean, I'm glad that he didn't save the day because, what we're going to get into.
We already saw that,
Yeah,
I need
exactly.
something different. John Favreau's like, I'm not going to repeat that.
I like not having force abilities be a main precedence for like the entire show.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nice having Star Wars where it's a world without focused on Jedi.
Right.
So
It's a massive...
it's cool that we got to see him have the power, the force powers and stuff. But I'm hoping that it doesn't turn into Baby Yoda saving Mando every time.
Plus, when that camera pans up and you see all those Iron Man 3 sentries fly up.
Oh, we're
man.
getting there. We're getting there. So Armando realizes that Baby Yoda is not his only hope. He then pulls out his disruptor, his rifle, his main sidekick. He then begins to evaporate the organic material that is made up of his foes and his bounty hunter friends alike.
And Konnor, you brought up something when we were talking off mic about this being a disruptor rifle, which, I mean, if anybody knows Star Wars, disruptor rifles were completely outlawed.
Yes.
So that I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point.
After he dispatches about 3 foes, looking for his next target, our Chubbs points out, "That's an impressive weapon you have there, Mando." Once again, they continue to share some banter. They talk back and forth. The Mando says, "This is what's going to happen. You're going to put down your weapons and you're going to let me go to my ship." At this moment, Chubbs knows that there's another bounty hunter walking up behind Armando. And before anything can happen, Armando is able to pull out his flamethrower. Flamethrower crazy, running out of butane. He is able to fend off more people as they get closer and closer to his speeder. Some more banter is exchanged between Chubbs and Armando, and when all hope seems lost, there's nothing left for Armando. This might be it.
Yeah,
Not
he's
only would
out of everything, out of ammo. Oh, he does have whistling birds. He's got how many?
we said he had
9 left.
yeah.
I didn't get to do much.
He had 12. He shot 4. So
Yep.
that wouldn't take that many people out when he's
So
surrounded by that
so
many
8,
people.
not 9.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I thought
Math is hard. so
It's late.
It's late. So at this moment, Armando, it seems that all hope is lost. He has nothing else, no tricks left up his sleeve. He is at the end of his rope. But from skies above, we have hellfire raining down from the rest of our Mando culvert. Every single Mando flying with their jetpacks in the air, taking to the skies, giving their brother, their VOD, which is Mandalorian for brother, aid. They fly down.
This was probably the coolest thing in Star Wars that I have seen in my entire existence. That many Mandos, Iron Man 3ing it into the scene, coming down, all with jetpacks, all with different blasters. It was spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we've seen Mandalorians, tons of Mandalorians flying around in animation.
Mm-hmm.
In Rebels and Clone Wars. It was...
Animation, video games, we've seen it. But
right,
Just
but in live action, wow, mind blown.
This kind of reminded me, yeah, like you were saying, we've had it in Rebels. We've had Death Watch, or not Rebels, sorry, Clone Wars. We've had Death Watch, and
Well, he had it in Rebels, too. I mean, there's a couple scenes
oh
there.
yeah, she does fight
does
off a
Sabine
couple.
have a jetpack ever?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
she even fights. In season 6, she fights Imperial jet troopers when they're on Lothal, like the 3rd to last episode, I think.
Mhm.
So she actually does fly around, and it's crazy. There's actually a scene where Sabine is flying around, stops in midair, is levitating kind of with the
Oh, that's
jetpack,
cool.
and uses her rocket to literally take down a transport ship that was transporting. So to see it on the live screen where we have actual people in actual Mandalorian armor. One thing that I noticed on a couple of rewatches is being formerly part of Mandalorian Merc's costuming club. One of the rules is cod pieces, and not every single one of these Mandos had a cod piece. If you don't know what a cod piece is the piece of armor that protects the groin region.
It protects your cod.
It goes underneath the belly button, across the front
fish.
of your hips, and then goes down in a triangular shape that would protect your groin area.
I have not
like
noticed the cods. I'm sorry that you were observing their cods, but I was not.
Hey man, it's canon material. If we're gonna be building armor and
I get it.
Got to
I
look at
mean,
everything.
The most important piece.
No
there.
homo. Yeah, exactly. And my peeps are walking around
It's
without
like an
one.
exterior
Who
cup.
plays baseball without a cup? I
Yeah,
mean, come
exactly.
on.
These Mando, they don't need it. They
They're
know they
like,
can get the job done.
Balls
That
of steel.
Mandalorian cod is
Listen,
strong.
they need airflow. Okay, that's what it is. All right, it's hot on this planet. There's lava everywhere. So our Mandos fly down. Duncan, of course, our heavy Mando, our heavy infantry, if you had the subtitles turned on. He lands, and more conversation is being had. Our Mando is surprised that his Vods, his brothers, came to his aid. He says, "You'll have to relocate the culvert." Our Mando, our Duncan, looks at our Mando, and at the same time, they both look at each other and say, This is the way. So this is the way. Our Mandos come to the rescue, and our Mandalorian flies away. Before he does fly away, he gets onto his ship, and there on his ship awaits Chubbs. "It doesn't have to be this way," Chubbs says to our Mandalorian friend. He tells him that he can, give up the package and everything will go back. Remember, he said this was his only hope. Now, my theory behind this is that Chubbs was actually trying to help our Mando. Remember, Chubbs had every intention to help the Mando because of this Mando, Chubbs is now rich.
I went back and forth on this. At first, I thought he was trying to help him. I thought he was trying to still do his job, but still he had his best interest. And then, I don't know, rewatching it, then I kind of flipped on that, and I think he's kind of a me first person. But I don't know. What do you guys? You both think that he was looking out for him?
Most bounty hunters, I would say, yeah, they're a me first person.
Yeah, but I mean, Mando did make him very rich, and it was kind of like his main man, in the Bounty Hunters Club. So it's possible that he was trying to look out for him, but at the same time, he wanted that bounty.
Well, and one thing, so he says, "I'm rich too," right?
We also glossed over how he old man climbs down the ladder.
Oh,
Tries
yeah,
to surprise
yeah.
him from the back.
It was like Jack Nicholson Joker. Gotcha.
He's like,
Gotcha.
Slow. Gotcha.
How did he not notice him? It doesn't. He only took like 2 steps down.
He looks so slow, like an old man trying to get down that ladder, and then
And he's
surprise
wearing
our boy.
he's wearing a trench coat. His tailcoats are like hanging there. I don't know.
It's kind of funny that I was reading this morning about Emily Swallow, who is kind of the lady behind the mask, the
Our armorer.
Yeah. She wants the blooper reel to come out eventually because when you put that mask on, your peripheral vision goes out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can attest to that. Having a Mandalorian helmet, you only have about 30% vision in front of you.
Right. So
Yeah.
she's doing all she can do to not trip over little things in the set, and of course there's a lot of blooper reel of everybody with Mando helmets tripping everywhere.
That would be amazing.
So
I see you have tripped. This is the way.
this is the way. So it's possible that, with his mask on, he couldn't see Chubbs hiding there, but,
True. So, what I was gonna so Chubb says that he's rich. Earlier in the Cantina scene, he pulls out 2 sleeves of Beskar steel,
2
ingots of Beskar steel.
And our Mando saw exactly where he had them kept.
Am I the only one who's having a trouble understanding? And this is gonna lead to a tangent. Am I the only one that has a trouble understanding what credit worth is in the Star Wars galaxy? Because listen to this. This is crazy. So I rewatched Solo yesterday. When Han and Kira are planning to sell their first little vial of coaxium,
Mm-hmm.
he said that it was worth somewhere between 500 and 800 credits on the open market, which is more than they said that they would need.
How many? Say that again. How many credits?
I believe he said it's either 6 to 8 or 5 to 800 credits. And he says that's double the amount that we needed
This
to buy a
is
ship
at the beginning of the movie.
at the very
beginning
beginning.
to
Right.
escape
So let's just round down and say it's 6. So if it's 600 credits, you're telling me you only need 300 credits to buy a ship to get off a planet?
Hire a ship, maybe.
higher.
Yeah, I don't think you're buying.
No,
a
no,
ship.
no.
They Ubered out. They wanted to Uber
No,
out
no,
of
no,
there.
no. They say buy their own ship.
Really?
Specifically, they say buy their own ship.
Maybe this is like a Clone Wars era. You know.
Well, and that's where it gets fuzzy, because obviously we don't know. We know that Beskar is obviously rare. If you think back to A New Hope, when they're sitting down in Mos Eisley Cantina, they ask Han how much. He says 10,000. 10,000?
Yeah, that's
we can
a
buy our own ship for
big
that much money.
difference.
Yeah, who's gonna pilot it, kid? You? Yeah, I'm not such a good pilot myself. Come on, Ben. Right? 10,000.
I'm not such a bad pilot myself. But
Yeah.
no, I get what you're saying.
Well, they're buying their own ship for
right,
10,000.
10,000. That's like okay. That's
Like, what is the inflation in the
600
Star Wars
600 to
galaxy?
10,000 is a big jump.
That's a huge jump.
maybe on Tatooine. You know, in Japan, like 10,000 yen is like $100 or something. So maybe in Tatooine, 10,000
Well, at
credits.
that, I mean,
is
at that
like-
time, everybody's using Imperial credits.
and
I would assume.
that's my point. They're saying credits because, and this is another thing, we don't see exactly what the Mandalorian is flipping to. In the very first episode, he flips a credit to our wiener face, and he calls the whatever,
to
right?
get his-
In A New Hope, when Han flips a credit to the barkeep for killing Greedo, I literally paused it and looked at it, and it is the diamond-shaped spherical thing that we get at Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, that's cool.
It looks like it. Now, the lore behind Galaxy's Edge, that's supposed to be a Spira or Spira. That's only supposed to be for Black Spire.
Mhm.
Just like how we had Calamari Flan. There is money specific too. The whole point in this conversation is he says he's rich. I want to know what rich means, because Star Wars canon, we have all different sorts of money. All their these races have their own money. It's hard to gauge. That was
well,
all,
keep
that was
in
my
mind
point.
what Justin was saying. During A New Hope, that was Imperial credits. I mean, Tatooine technically, I guess, was part of the Imperial
Mhm.
Yeah,
Old
for sure.
Republic. But in
I guess
Mandalorian,
pre-Imperial credits.
you're
would've
talking
been-
about New Republic credits, right?
or
Imperial
galact-
credits aren't worth
galactic
anything
credits.
anymore.
I think they.
I don't know if you heard, but the Imperial's out of business.
That didn't come out.
That sounded pretty good.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
thought it was going to be better than that, but
The Crowler is done.
oh, it's super done. So, as our Mandalorian is leaving, he then uses his harpoon, his cable, to activate the carbonite freezing chamber inside his ship to mask his disappearance. He then takes a precision.
Another Batman move.
So Batman. He takes what appears to be, in my mind, a precision shot into Chubbs, which is into his Beskar steel, knowing that he wouldn't kill him.
Disabling, not killing.
Disabling, not killing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'd like to think he did it on purpose, but it is kind of funny just to think that he just took a one random shot and that's where he hit him. But because he showed him and he flashed him those plates earlier in the episode, you
Mhm.
gotta think that our boy's not gonna have a bad aim. He's gonna hit him right where he wants to, which was right in those Beskar steel plates.
Yeah.
I think it was convenient because Jon Favreau again is trying to do the whole Western theme, and in call out a different movie here, but in Back to the Future 3, Marty McFly puts a bulletproof vest on, which he learns from an old Western movie that is alternate reality. Old Biff is watching in a hot tub with two babes, and he's like, "Bulletproof vest, genius!" So he remembers that and puts it on for his gunfight with old Biff. Well, new Biff. It depends on what time frame you're looking at. So again, I don't know if this is on purpose, but it could be.
Oh yeah, I mean that sets a movie trope from a Western, like they get shot in a Bible or they get shot in a gold cross or something like that they have underneath their outer layer of clothes. So
And it happens in that universe as well. Very cool.
So as our Mando is taking to the sky, he's flying away. We have a memorable moment between Duncan, our heavy Mando, and our Mandalorian.
Call back out here. Actually, I want to shout out to my sister Becky Strimple. She texted me right after she watched it, and she's like, "Total Rocketeer moment at this time."
I had the exact same thought. Like without talking to you, I was like, "Oh my god!" I grew up watching Rocketeer so much, and that's the only thing that I could see when I saw that scene. Especially if you Google image search Rocketeer flying salute, and scene by scene or side by side, these scenes look almost exactly the same. He's flying through the clouds. Rocketeer has a Mando-esque helmet, and we both see them do the the flying salute next to each other.
And it was so out of characteristic. The salute is such a worldly thing. This has never been in the Star Wars universe ever. We have like Imperials. They like to stand with their, they stand at attention. They stand with their hands behind their back. In Force Awakens, we have, the hand up in the sky, which was obviously
very Nazi-ish.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence. But we've yet to have this actual salute, which is definitely a United States.
Yeah,
It could be a
only United States, but
maybe Jon Favreau's introducing a new Mandalorian canonical, hand gesture here. This is what they do now.
I picked up on a few things in this show, and like also other just the newer Star Wars movies and shows of them implementing modern day words that just never were around for the original trilogy. Just the simple thing of a fob. They used the term fob like nothing. We never had that
tracker
term.
fob. Yeah,
nobody knew what a fob was originally when Star Wars came out. So I think they're implementing some stuff into it that's strictly based off of modern things, which is kind of cool.
When the original trilogy came out, the cars that they had in the Star Wars galaxy, they didn't have keyless entry. So now they have keyless entry for their.
Oh yeah.
So the fob is introduced in the new 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
So that will be the recap, guys. Thank you for joining us for our Mandalorian Chapter 3, The Sin. Now, before we go, we do have an embarrassing story. Now, what was that, Justin?
Nothing.
Oh. This is not... I listen, I know you probably heard a million people say this. I don't get embarrassed easily. And the reason for that is because I can laugh at myself. Now, I don't like being wrong. Now, I will think of a story of when I was wrong, and it was extremely embarrassing. I can't have one come to mind, like, right off the bat.
You're, like, not ever wrong.
I wasn't going to say it, but thank you for bringing it to everyone's attention, Justin.
No, there was that one time where you thought you were wrong, but you actually weren't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, Russell. Yeah, appreciate that.
He did some research and found out he was, in fact, correct.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Google, my BFF. That reminds me of that meme that I always send people with the little sheep, the baby sheep, where he's like looking up. He's like, when people think you're wrong and they Google you and you're right and they doubted you. And anyway. All right. So I was about 8 years old. Growing up, me and my mom, I loved Taco Bell. Now, my go-to order Taco Bell is a bean burrito and a nacho supreme. Now, a lot of people don't like Taco Bell. They, it makes them go to the bathroom.
Taco Bell's the best.
I love Taco Bell. Taco Bell does not have that effect on me, and it's probably because I ate it so much as a child.
Your body has acclimated, and
it is when it gets a bean barragio, it says,
I'm one with the bell is with me.
This is the way.
This is the way.
No, I need a sticker that says that. I am one with the bell is with me. I am one with the bell is with me. That's a shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Follow the link below for merch.
You heard it here first on KonKon's Cantina.
Follow the link below for merch that doesn't exist yet. So we're going to Ross in Ocoee on Highway 50 in Pine Hills. Not Ocoee, sorry. That is definitely Pine Hills.
It's definitely the nicest Ross around.
It used to be, that's for sure.
20 years ago.
Yeah. So, this was almost 20 years ago. So, I've got my bean burrito. My mom's bringing me to Ross. Hey, that's where we had to shop. We weren't rich.
I still go to Ross.
Heck yeah, I still go to Ross. Well, why am I going to pay $50 for a Volcom Polo when I can get it for $12? Anyway.
Marshall's all the way. Just saying.
Aren't they owned by the same company?
Probably, but I feel like Marshall's is the rich man's Ross.
It's the Target. Target to.
No. Ross and Marshalls are completely different. It's Marshalls and Home Goods.
Yeah.
They're owned by the same company.
Yeah, they're normally the same store, aren't they?
If they're next to each other, they'll break down that wall. Anyway. So I've got my bean burrito and we're walking into Ross. Man, and I'm chowing down on this bean burrito. I've got nothing but beans and cheese and the red sauce and the onions, and it is so good.
That tortilla though.
The tortilla. And we're walking in, and as we're walking in, there's a family walking out, and they've got some kids my age, and they're looking at me like really, really strange, and I don't know why.
They want your bell.
And they, that's what I think, they're just jealous that, I got a bean burrito and they don't. So we're walking through the store, and I'm like, man, this is,
How long were you walking through the store?
I mean, I was...
Ross, even 20 years ago, they haven't changed in size. They were big. They were a large store. You're looking
I was
at like
little.
30 aisles of bean burrito goodness.
Listen, when you're little and you're shopping with your mom, it feels like an eternity.
That's true.
So let's say we get halfway through the shopping venture, and I'm
Connor's
just
standing in the dress aisle, going to town. On
yeah,
a
going
burrito.
just down on my bean burrito, and I realize that all I'm eating is a tortilla.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, where are my beans? Where are my onions? Where are my cheese? And where are my red sauce?
That tortilla, though.
That tortilla, though, I venture down with a glance, and all of my bean burrito has come out of the bottom of my tortilla,
Oh man.
straight down my Tony Hawk shirt, down onto my Volcom pants, and onto my Etnies skating
Oh,
shoes.
The good news is you're at Ross. You can buy all of that for like $15.
Yes, all new clothes. And that's when it dawned on me. That's why these kids were looking at me so weird. The entirety of my bean burrito had fallen down my entire shirt. This might be embarrassing for my mom, too, now that I think about it, because how long did we go
She's
and
got
she
the
didn't notice that?
Poop streak down the
What a
front of your
great
shirt.
mother.
Dude, theory. We are so going to get an episode where Mando has to, like, clean up some vomit from Baby Yoda. He did. It's
Change a Baby Yoda diaper.
kind of like Baby Groot when they
Oh,
go
okay.
through all the jump points and then anyway. So yeah, that was not the best embarrassing story. Like I said, I'll come up. That's not like I said, shame isn't like I
need
can
more
laugh at myself.
Public shame.
Yeah.
Or shame in front of people who can call you out on it later. That makes it the most.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where the whole, if you know me, I can't spell. That's pretty embarrassing. I mean, if you've ever seen me like staring at my phone intently, it's not because I'm researching something. It's because I'm trying to make you not hear me talk to Siri so that I can spell something right. Like, that's embarrassing. I cannot spell.
Well, it took you and I an entire day to figure out how to spell signet. And then we had to resort to turning on the subtitles and skipping to that part of the episode.
It sounds like you would have an extra N.
It does sound like
we were like,
Signet. I gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty embarrassing actually. But like I said, I'll come up with a story, and we're gonna have
My embarrassing story was recent, and
Wait, we gotta save it though.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Oh,
prepping our
teasers for
listeners.
Oh,
next
jeez.
episode.
Okay.
I've been thinking about it
You've
now
been-
for 2 weeks.
Are you developing the story? Are there oohs and there ahs?
Oh, there's oohs and there's ahs.
Do we
and
need to have sound
plenty of
effects?
laughs.
Okay. All right. Well,
You know
that'll be
what?
Good.
Yes.
I have a great
Definitely
embarrassing
sound
story
effects.
that I can tell about somebody that happened last night. We can do that one too.
Maybe have him as a guest on the show.
Wait. Yeah. Oh, well, last night. So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna tell that embarrassing story for him because I don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna come on here to. Well, we'll have a bonus episode where I'm sure we can have him. We need to have a car episode,
Yeah, that would be
and that would be perfect to have John.
a
come
car.
on and-
we need to
yeah.
definitely.
So, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on our third episode. Hopefully, you enjoyed this episode the most. Our audio quality has gone through the roof. We have invested our time. We have invested some money. Thank you to each one of our wives, Natasha, Whitney, and Liz, for putting up with what's kind
All
of been
our time being sucked into this lately.
Yeah, because we're putting in some time into this. That's taking out of our day. It'll get smoother. We're greasing the wheels. We just made our wheels, so our train is moving a little bit slow, but we're throwing in some coal and we're stoking, and it'll only get better. So please follow us on Instagram. That's KonKon's Cantina, KonKon's Cantina. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, and we have a Facebook group. So
Yeah, and what we kind of want the group to be is we want everybody's input. So if you got things you want to talk about, if you got things that you don't know much about that you want us to do a deep dive into certain subjects, we want that Facebook group to be interactive with all of our listeners.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, I was your host, iTzKonKon, and followed by my co-hosts,
Russell Allen, magistrate.
and
I'm Justin Baker.
we will see you next week.